I'm Calvin Chapman with the Hgp Sportscast. West Indies turned down Australia's offer to chase 370 runs in 70 overs on the final day of the third and final Test match.
Australia's captain Stephen Smith lamented the weather pattern that choked almost 3 days from the 5-day test.
Control the weather, but it's been a disappointing week here in Sydney. Would have been nice to have got a little bit more play in, but we can't control that. So we did everything we could this week, and it wasn't enough.
Smith offered West Indies scoring opportunities to make 370 runs off 70 overs for a win. Smith's displeasure with Older's refusal was evident.
They didn't come to the party. I offered him 370 in 70 overs, which I thought was pretty generous. It'll take some very good batting to get that on a day 5 SCG wicket, but they weren't up for the challenge today, unfortunately.
Opener David Warner's 82 balls for his century in Australia's first innings in the third and final test and the fastest at the SCG was to give fans some batting enjoyment.
I'm just extremely happy that the fans got to see some cricket, and obviously it was a long first innings by the West Indies, and then we tried to go out there and be as positive as we could, and we tried and play with as much intent as we can, and that's what we did. We tried to score some runs at a nice rate to give the fans something to watch.
Oler refuted by saying his side was not prepared to go after a win, hence the refusal. West Indies ended their tour of Australia winless against the Aussies.
The GFF is changing gears to get with the country's 50th anniversary celebrations. Associations can look forward to an independence tournament.
Coming out to the conversation we had with the Minister of Sports, part of the independence calendar that the Ministry of Sport has put together, football is a very significant component, and we are going to engage our membership, and I'm thinking before the end of January we will have a format for a tournament that will conclude during that independence period.
Members of the diaspora will be able to participate and or enjoy a specially organized international male and female friendly match.
We are also planning an international friendly, both male and female. The projections that we are working with is that we're going to have many Guyanese from the diaspora returning for those celebrations, and we believe it's an opportunity to present football in a very vibrant and fresh and new way, and hopefully expand the fan base.
Guyana will commemorate its Jubilee year of activities in May of this year to mark its 50th anniversary.
Chris Gale's management have retained the services of a leading Australian media lawyer with the intention of immediately launching defamation action against Fairfax Media over allegations that he indecently exposed himself to a woman in Sydney during the World Cup last year. The allegation arose following Gale's widely decried actions in an interview with the 10 Network sports presenter Mel McLaughlin while playing for the Melbourne Renegades in the Big Bash League. The Renegades fined Gale $10,000 for the incident, and the Cricket Australia chief executive James Sutherland declared the West Indian opening batsman would be facing more severe consequences if he transgressed further. The Fairfax Media's indecent exposure allegation against Gale claimed that it had taken place during a training session at the SCG before the start of the tournament, and substantial proof would be viewed by Cricket Australia as sufficient cause to tear up his existing contract with the Renegades. Gale would also be banished from playing for any club in the Big Bash League, a competition designed in part to be a welcoming tournament for females in the near future. Chris Gale has strongly denied allegations first published by Fairfax Media that he indecently exposed himself to a woman during last year's World Cup in Sydney. Gale's manager Simon O'Terry said in a statement, "Despite such denials, Fairfax Media continue to publish the false and defamatory allegations, which have received widespread republication in the media throughout the world. As a result, Chris Gale has retained Mark O'Brien, a leading Australian media lawyer, to immediately commence defamation proceedings against Fairfax Media." Devon Barrington and Andrea Foster, after their successes in the Paris-Marble Bridge race in Suriname, now turn their focuses at qualifying for the 2016 Summer Olympics in Brazil.
What would you like to achieve in both short and long terms in terms of athletics?
Short term, I'm currently seeking to make the qualifying standard for the 800 meter at the Olympics to be held August in Rio. I'm currently doing 152 in the 800, and the required standard is 146. So I'm just about 6 seconds off, and I'm working earnestly to take up that 6 seconds.
How confident are you of making that time?
Confident as in 95% right now, because I am nursing a little niggle in the feet, but hopefully I just get across that.
Andrea Foster, like Barrington, is also aiming to qualify for the Olympics in the 800 meters. And again, similar to Barrington, she needs to shave 6 seconds off her current time to qualify, with a qualification deadline June 11th. She commented briefly on her training.
Training is very okay. I mean, you have to be pushing in the work day in, day out. So when I go out to compete, I'm only going for the first place.
Andrea praised the presence of her mother, Alicia Fortune, who is no stranger to track, in her development.
She understands the sports, so she can inform me about where I'm making mistake and where is my fault and what I need to work on. And also she's pretty much a nutritionist, so she can say what kind of food I should use and what not to use. And when she's a massage therapy too, so if I have like a little slight injury, she can look after it.
In conclusion, Barrington urged everyone to rally around them as they aim to represent Guyana in Rio 2016.
I'd just like to plead with members of the public, basically private sector, to just come on board and support athletics in Guyana. I mean, we haven't much, but we need a start. And we just pleading for the support of the general public to come on board with us.